episode of CP Conversations. July is Disability Pride Month, and today I'm talking to Caroline Naif from Briella Me. Briella is her determined, happy, smiley 6-year-old daughter living with cerebral palsy. At 3.5, she had a life-changing surgery called selective dorsal rhizotomy. Cerebral palsy doesn't stop or define Briella because she's breaking down barriers and living life to the fullest. Welcome, Caroline.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I am just so honored to talk to you today, and just you're amazing, and thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Believe me, the honor is all mine. And anyone who is in the cerebral palsy community, you probably know Caroline and Briella, and if you don't, you'll soon see why you have to follow them, because they are doing amazing work in the community. And I want us to talk about Briella and how CP affects her. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we discovered that Briella was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at 21 months old. We did a MRI scan, and that's where they found that she had PVL, which is periventricular leukomalacia. She was born 6 weeks early, so that was kind of her cause of CP. There can be many different ways that CP can be caused, and as you know, hopefully cerebral palsy research gets more funded and going, we can figure out, early detection and early causes CP for, better outcomes. So when we got her diagnosis at 21 months old, we were just, shaken. We're like, what do we do? What do we do next? The neurologist said, here's her diagnosis, now go live. And it's like, okay, what do we do? And we're just, angry, heartbroken, just saddened, just confused, really just had no guidance in how we, go into the unknown, living with, raising a child with CP. And that's kind of just, where I had to just do my research on my own and just kind of start to be that medical advocate. And that's, Nicole, actually, you're one of the first people I found and saw on Instagram and on your Facebook, and then as well as your wonderful website, where I kind of started to learn a lot about, CP and what CP looks like, and you as an adult living with CP and your experiences, and then learning about SDR and all of that. So
wow, I don't think I ever knew that. So thank you for sharing.
Oh my gosh.
But I wanted to interrupt you real quick, because I must see this every time I interview, particularly a parent. I am shocked. Almost every one of you tells me the same thing, that you get this diagnosis and that nobody gives you you don't get a pamphlet to take home. You don't get like, okay, this is what you need to do. This would help you. And also you get a bleak diagnosis. Like you've told me, the doctors told you and your husband that Briella may never walk or talk. Yeah. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So what was that like?
I mean, it's just, you imagine being a parent, and that's another thing, like, they don't really teach you that, like, as you're going through, wanting to have a child, like, there's a good chance that your child may have, be born with a disability or a limb difference or, a genetic mutation, things like that. So when, after the NICU and then finally getting her diagnosis at 21 months old, which is kind of late. I mean, she was almost 2. And that's why, we are starting her page and just raising awareness for, all about CP and early detection and early intervention and early therapies and all of that. And yeah, it was heartbreaking. I mean, we had no guidance, didn't know what to do. And when the doctor tells you your child may never walk or talk, we're like, oh my God, it's just, what do we do now kind of thing. So, yeah.
Did you know anyone with cerebral palsy before that?
No.
Wow. And you guys are in Michigan, right?
We're in Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah. I just can't, because I don't have children. I've worked a lot in the past volunteering with kids close to Briella's age, and I love that age, but I just cannot imagine, because you were first-time parents also, weren't you?
that I think too is just the hardest thing, as well as being first time parents, because it's like, okay, we really have no idea what we're doing. It's just kind of, making your child happy and just, go through parenting, as just day by day, but then throwing in the mix of a medically complex child. I mean, it was a struggle, and it was just a lot to, take on, and then just not having that sense of community and support. Yeah, it was hard. It was really, really hard the first 3 years. Yeah.
So I was just going to ask you about that. So let's fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
She actually has something else in common with me. We have the same cerebral palsy diagnosis, but we both had selective dorsal rhizotomy surgery. So for people who are not familiar with that, just briefly tell us, what is it and how has it changed Briella's life?
Oh my gosh. SDR really changes lives. Follow that hashtag. SDR changes lives. But it honestly really has. She went from not talking, not being able to just like sit by herself because her legs were so tight, really not having that great of mobility and independence to, after surgery. It's already been now 3 years, Nicole.
Wow.
And holy gosh, just the things she's doing. She's talking full sentences. She's reading. She's doing a lot of independent, steps without her walker. She's like a whole new girl. It's just absolutely incredible. And for those who don't know, selective dorsal rhizotomy, it's a lower spinal surgery. It's about a 4-hour surgery. I think, give or take, but they basically go into the spinal cord and they test the nerve rootlets with electrical stimulation to see if the legs are moving. And then if not, those are the bad ones that they cut. And then those which will allow for the brain to send the correct signals to the legs and reduce the spasticity. So allowing for greater independence, more mobility, and really just comfort too. I mean, her legs were so tight.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And that's ultimately why we did the surgery. Botox is only, a Band-Aid to the problem. It has to be done, every 3 to 6 months, and it's destroying the muscle over time. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep putting a toxin, in Briella. And I get it. Everyone has different scenarios. But we really were just raising, awareness for how great SDR has been for us, and, how Briella was before to how she is now, and just giving her greater mobility and comfort and independence for the rest of her life. So
yeah. I mean, it's incredible because she was you guys just took a family trip to the zoo the other day. She was walking around the zoo.
I know. I was just like, oh my gosh, she literally we have her in her wagon just because that's a lot of walking. And then we bring her walker. So, when she wants to get out and see the animals, or go inside the aquarium, then she has, that time to walk around and has that mobility. But a lot of the times, Nicole, she just kept leaving her walker behind and just walking without it. Matt's going to go pick up the walker.
That must have been a great moment for the parents.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Because after what you've been through, and then the surgery, and then you do so much work with her with physical therapy and occupational therapy and all the other kind of therapies. And so I was wondering, Caroline, because I've known you for so many years. I mean, really, I feel like we know each other, but this is actually the first time we've met, quote unquote, on camera. How did you get started in advocacy? I mean, what made you and your husband, Matt, say, we want to share our journey publicly? And when I say publicly, I want everybody to understand that Briella Me's Instagram account alone has over 20,000 followers. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of people. And we all love and respect you. And you post so many things that are so educational. I mean, I don't even know how you do it because you're a mom. You also have a career, your husband, you guys have all these things, but then you take the time to educate all of us. So how did you make the decision to do that?
And one of it, I think it was just, following you and just seeing how great of an advocate you were. And, I learned so much just from, Instagram, and then, starting her page and having that sense of community. Cause like I said, we didn't know anyone with, cerebral palsy. And when I was doing a lot of that research, and, I just came up with this idea, like, oh my gosh, like we have to start her a page. We have to share her journey. We have to have that sense of community and connect with all these other, you know, cerebral palsy warriors worldwide, and really become, you know, when you get that diagnosis, you have to become an advocate, you know, for your child. You do. And, you know, whether you decide to share your child's journey along the way or not, you learn just so much along the way, having that sense of community and, you know, just sharing the journey and just learning so much great information. And yeah, and it's so like, I'm just so thankful and blessed for, you know, any and everyone who, you know, just reaches out to us and just says thank you. And, you know, everything that we share and post and how inspiring it is, you know, just watching Briella's story, and, you know, how just incredibly thankful they are for sharing her story, because a lot of these accounts and, you know, just other foreign countries, they don't have the type of, you know, equipment or therapies and things like that. So they reach out and they're just so thankful. And that's just so rewarding, you know, in it, and just, you know, being an advocate and sharing and just providing, you know, research and what we know and just that information. But ultimately it's the sense of community. It really is.
It really is. It's so true, because you can feel so alone, whether you're a parent of a child with a disability, whether you are a child now, I'm an adult, I have a disability. I didn't know anybody with cerebral palsy growing up. I think it was, you know, basically just me trying to live life the only way that I knew how. And so now, you know, I want to switch gears to talk about Disability Pride Month, because that's one of the main reasons I was going to have you on anyway. But for this month, what I wanted to concentrate on, because I'm doing some things for Disability Pride Month on my own. Like I just wrote a poem that I put out yesterday, and some of my friends are doing great work on Clubhouse, but it kind of dawned on me. I said, you know what? Disability Pride, I want to see how these moms are doing it, because I see you doing it. I see other moms with their children, and you guys have these young kids who I don't know where they're getting their confidence from, but it's obviously coming from the way that they're being raised. So first, I want to hear from you. What does Disability Pride mean to you?
I mean, disability pride really just means just, you know, owning her disability, knowing everything about it, sharing her journey, sharing her story, sharing all the ups, the downs, the joys, the struggles, just all of it. And really just, you know, being an advocate and raising awareness, and her just being comfortable and confident, and, you know, really just how much work, you know, us advocates, you know, as parents, our disabled children grow up to be disabled adults. So how much work, you know, we need to do as parents, as well as the disabled adult community too. And we're learning from you guys, you know, as you guys are older, living with a disability, you know, what are things that we really need to do, and how can we help you guys advocate? Because one day our children are going to be, you know, adults. And oh my gosh, another really great account, Erin Claiming Disability, and just a lot that she's been sharing about, you know, owning her disability.
Yes, I was just on the Clubhouse chat with them. Yeah, and I had to go to come talk to you. They were just wrapping it up, but yeah, she was what I was referring to. With so
she's great.
Yes, she is. On that note, how are you instilling disability pride in Briella at such a young age? Because she's going to be 7, so everybody will just wish her happy birthday early. And you know, like, do you talk to her about her disability? Like, what do you guys do? What's your approach?
So it's, with her being almost 7, it's kind of, you know, a hard age where I'm not sure really how much she understands. She knows she's different, that she knows, you know, she needs her AFOs and her walker, and she moves different, but mostly it's just, we adapt when we need to, we have fun, we educate other kids that, you know, she is around, and adults. And I think the greatest way and just, you know, having her be confident, just having her believe in herself, I think is just the biggest thing, you know, no matter what, and just cheering her on and saying, you know, you can do this. But there's going to be times where, you know, as CP, as a CP warrior, you use twice the amount of energy, as a typical adult or child. So she's going to tire easily, and that's okay. And just letting her be able to express her feelings and her emotions, but to also be confident. And I think a great way to do that also with kids is through books that talk about disability, show disabled characters, show, different tools that people with disabilities use, such as, the different medical equipments like a walker, canes, and crutches and wheelchairs and AAC devices, and just all of that. So your children are aware of, disability doesn't look just one way. It's all different ways, seen and unseen. And I think that's
right.
so important.
It's very important. And I know that you're going to be putting out a post coming up. You're going to be telling people about some of your favorite books and that they can check out. So thank you for doing that, because that's another thing that's different nowadays. We have all these books and all these resources. So parents like you can really take advantage. And I wanted to tell everybody that Briella is going to be going to kindergarten soon. Right?
First grade. She'll be in first grade.
First grade.
I know.
So, I mean, oh my God, number one, how did that happen? I'm not so sure, because she was little and now she's getting big.
I know.
And how are you guys feeling about that? And what kind of accommodations did you have to make sure that she needs? And how did it go getting those put in place?
Yeah, so her kindergarten year that she just finished, it was all on Zoom. And that was it was a lot, and she missed, it was a lot of me just helping to keep her on track and, do all of that. And then, but she really she is so social, she loves being around other kids and playing. So first grade will be in person in the fall in a general education classroom, and she will have an aide who will just help keep her safe and get her, help with transitions, get her in and out of her desk and into her walker, and, just make sure that she's safe around the classroom and to the gym and to lunch and all of that. And she's so excited to go back to school, but so excited. But I'm worried because it's her, brand new school. So she hasn't been in the school yet, so you, as a parent, you think of all of the challenges that she's going to have. Mostly it's going to be, mobility. So, obviously the playground's not going to be accessible for her. The bathrooms, things like that. And so it's, what's really great is I get to meet up with the principal a couple weeks before, and we kind of get to go over and do a walkthrough of the building. Okay, how can we keep Briella safe? How can we make it accessible? And all of that. So that's exciting.
That's great.
Just kind of see the layout and, what she may need help with or assistance with. So that gives me peace of mind. Being able to do that and go over that with the principal and the teacher. So
I'm glad that they're receptive to that. That makes me happy. It really does.
Yeah.
And so I know, I can imagine how you're feeling about that, because that's a lot. You've had her at home, and you guys do such a great job. Really, everybody listening, please go check out what Caroline does, because not only does she take phenomenal pictures of her and Briella and her family, but she takes video of when she's doing physical therapy exercises that I've said to Caroline, have you thought about being a physical therapist? Because I don't know how I really don't. I don't know how she does it, but I'm like, this lady's got it going on, man. She researches stuff. She knows what's going on, and she helps people all the time. But before we go, because we're going to have a lot of parents who want to hear from you, what advice would you give to them when they're dealing with a similar diagnosis or a diagnosis of any child with a disability? What do you wish somebody would have told you?
I think it really is just finding your people, so finding your community. So for us, it's, the cerebral palsy community, all of the advocates, and for, prematurity, just kind of finding our community. But we follow a lot of, different accounts, and with all different kinds of disabilities. And I think that's just really, really great having having those communications and just learning as parents from each other, bouncing off ideas and just being so supportive and just sharing the information. I honestly, since starting her page, almost 4 years ago now, sharing her journey and her story has just saved us, Briella, just all the information that we have learned and all of the great connections that we have made and all the opportunities that Briella has had, and just having that sense of community and being able to connect with other CP warriors to go on play dates and, go to therapy trips and, this and that. So definitely.
So she's made friends.
Yeah.
I love that. And I wanted to thank you before we go, because I was thinking about you. Remember back in 2019 when I had that crazy idea to try to get at least one building in every state to light up green for CP? Yep. Well, you actually went to the Little Caesars Arena, which most people don't know. It took about a year for me to secure that lighting, and I did not know it was going to happen until really the last moment. You went there with your family. You even created a beautiful sign. You're just incredible.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel? I mean, I know Briella is young. How did you guys feel seeing that was you basically could say to her, that's for you, Briella. That's why it was lit up like that.
Oh, I mean, it was just so exciting. I actually had to work that night. And so our photographer friend and my husband, Matt, they had this sign, and I was like, listen, you guys have to go down there and get this picture for Nicole. But not only that, just really what the significance of this means. It's really just, oh my gosh, all of the hard work, all the advocacy, and how much work we still need to do in terms of, raising awareness for cerebral palsy and getting that federal funding in the US, and just all of that, finding, early detection and better treatment options. And, but really just signifies okay, we can all come together to do something great and make a change and strive for better. And that was just so exciting. You did so great, Nicole.
Oh my God. I thank you. But that it made it special for me to see people that's what I wanted to happen, where people to go in their area and, be a part of the lightings. And if anybody wants to see the list, just go to my website, click on the Go Green for CP tab. So I know that you told me that you're so thankful for the community because you created your channels as a way to spread awareness and advocacy for the disability community. And I just want to thank you for everything that you do, because I know it's not easy, and we owe you a debt of gratitude for everything that you do. And I just had so much fun talking to you today. And I don't know if Briella is nearby, but Briella, if you can hear me, sweetie, we love you. Oh, I was hoping she would make an appearance. Please, we want to see. I want to see her. Hi,
Briella. Say hi, Nicole.
I'm your friend, Nicole. I have cerebral palsy just like you. I know, right? Can you believe it? Briella, you have a birthday coming up. How old are you going to be?
How old are you going to be? How old are you going to be?
7. Well, I hope you have a very happy birthday. There are a lot of people who love you. I'm one of them. And I can't wait to hear about your adventures in first grade. Nice to meet you, Briella.
Say bye to Nicole.
Bye, sweetie.
He's being silly.
Oh, that just made my day. That really did. That really did. So thanks again. And oh, by the way, I know the answer to this question, but for people who want to follow you, where can they find you guys?
Briella Me on Instagram, and we are on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
All right, I'll make sure.
Thank you so much, Nicole. This was
you're
such
welcome.
a pleasure.
Oh yeah, I'll make sure all of that is in the show notes, and everybody will have an opportunity to check you guys out. And if you guys are interested in the Cerebral Palsy Conference that is coming up on October 1st and 2nd, please go to our website. The registration is open, and guess what, guys? It's free. We also have some special packages if you want some extra things included. So make sure you check us out. It's a pleasure talking to you today, Caroline. Bye.
Bye. Pleasure. Talk to you soon.